that adverbs describe verbs. So they're going to work a little bit differently. And in a way, they're easier to deal with because they only describe verbs, they don't describe nouns. So in English as well as in Latin, adverbs describe verbs by how or when the action is done. Typically, in English, our adverbs usually, but not always, end in ly. Two of the most common ideas are quickly or slowly. That would be an example, yes. All right, so beyond quickly, beyond slowly, write an English sentence that has an adverb in it without naming names. I'm no fun, I know. Oh, so they just released a new feature for Pear Deck that it's loading as you're typing. So look, see, people are typing still? How cool is that? Super user.
Are we not supposed to speak? Okay, calm down.
All right.
I jealously punched.
All right, so let's try to get your responses done before you load them. Or before I load them.
Can we use a name if it's not someone in the class?
As long as it's a name used benignly and not maliciously.
Okay.
Okay, I'm about to freeze it.
Wait, how do I...
You don't enter anymore. Because now it's automatically fed. All right. Oscar quickly flies away into the distance with Magister. Hi, Sam. I smartly answered the question. I jealously punched Bob in the face. Okay. I sadly walked to the next class because school wasn't over. Sorry, I guess that makes me the next class. The boy ran across the court skillfully. A couch. I see what you did there. Secretly changed into Batman. I stupidly forgot to briskly leave my house, so I miserably went back to my house because I wanted to do it all over again briskly. She reads her grades pessimistically. I think it's a word. Mike Chun runs quickly to save the world. The boy walks slowly in front of me. I aggressively ate my own toes.
Honestly, I have to do that every night. It's part of my ritual.
Okay. She happily skipped down the road. John hesitantly asked me. Interestingly, I had no idea what to write. I furiously typed my Pear Deck response. All right, so these are all very good examples of how you are doing something. All right. So, in the same way that adjectives had a positive degree, adverbs have a positive degree. And the positive degree is just that ly version that you just created sample sentences about just now. Say it again?
Is there comparative, like, quickly or...
No.
Well, it would be more quickly, but yes, absolutely.
Rather quickly.
Yes, also true.
Quickly.
Quickly.
Very quickly.
Get those answers.
Quickly.
Okay, so some English adverbs, though, although they're adverbs and although they tell you how a verb was done, they do not end in ly. Examples. Soon. Always. Often. These are all ways that we can use an adverb to describe a verb without using a word that ends in ly. Yeah?
Does the Latin ending have an E in it?
Yeah, we're getting there.
Is the ly equals E?
Yes,
Yep. Yep.
I'm going to give a red sentence.
So try to figure out an English sentence that features an adverb that does not end in ly.
Wait, so can we use one of the three that you gave us?
If you have to, yes. Or try to think of something else. Soon, always, and often.
I can. Oh no, I'm gonna try and find another one.
Wait, give me a second.
Seldom. Quickly. Quickly.
It's hard, right? We do have them, though.
Is rather one?
It is.
Did you say like here?
Say it again.
Like here? Like I'm here.
I am. And is a verb.
But is it describing the am, or is it the location then? I don't know. I guess it could go either way. All right. I like often, wonder why I am here. Here, I think Karina and I were just talking about this. It may or may not be an adverb, because here could just be like a location. All right. Oscar often flies away. Mike Chun always, often, always, always, only. Only is an adverb. Now is an adverb. I want to eat food now. Oh, sorry. Touche. You are correct. Never is also an adverb. Let's see here. Soon, yes. Often, never.
Who wrote that?
I know.
Okay. So we do have occasional adverbs in English that don't have the ly, but they are few and far between. So it's just something to keep in mind. Yes, they are actually. All right. So the positive degree of adverbs in Latin, there are only two ways that they appear
We should just change
in Latin.
so they end in ly.
Yeah, would anyone mind? I don't think anyone would mind.
Revel. Just change Latin
Reveille.
so it's ly.
Okay, that's not a bad idea. As I think Jonah intimated with his question, these generic positive degree endings in Latin do not pertain to the adverbs that don't end in ly in Latin.
Wait, so they only go with things that do end in Latin?
Yep. So the old moniker that Magister Carroll always used to use is ly equals e. Not sure if Mr. Couch ever did that, but ly equals e.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is E used for first and second function verbs? Or
Yes.
second and third?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, so this is what we were just discussing, that some Latin adverbs are irregular and they don't have those standard E or iter endings. Some examples for you from Latin: ergo, therefore; hic, here; cras, tomorrow; ibi, there. Yes. Yeah. There's a very famous quote by Descartes, who is a philosopher: cogito ergo sum.
I think for him.
Exactly. So then by extension, as some of you have said, in pop culture it's become like a phenomenon to just say ergo, and then, sort of move on with a conclusion that you would make.
Was that the same Descartes who's a mathematician?
Yes. Yep. Cartesian plane Descartes.
Yeah, because we're learning like some of his like postulates and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's like that guy was really smart because like I'm having trouble like someone who's like normally studying math and knows like everything prior is having trouble like understanding what he's saying. So that must mean that like if he works at such a higher level, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So, adverbs come from adjectives, which is where we started this whole thing in the title of your notes. And since you are all very well versed in your adjectives, as evident in your quiz grades, let's talk first about those adverbs that end with an E. Now, that macron over the E is mandatory. You must have that macron there. Yes?
If it's not an E, could it be like, if the E is not long, could like you mistake it for like provocative or what?
Yep, you could mistake it provocative. You could think that perhaps it's a third declension noun, and then it's an ablative, right? So you must have that macron over the E. And if the macron's over the E, then it's going to have an A sound at the end. So these E with the macron adverbs, they are created only from first and second declension adjectives. I've given you a handful of samples of third declension adjectives: assiduous, pulcher, and claros. As with our adjective work last week, we start with the stem and add that E with the macron onto the stem. So assiduous means constant, assidué, constantly. So we're going to take off the US, which is that declension ending, and then replace that with an E. With pulcher, our stem changes because that E drops out. So our stem becomes pulcre, and then we add the E with the macron, and we got pulcre, beautifully. And then clarosaum, again, you take off that usaum stuff, your stem is clar, add the E, clare, and then it's clearly. So all the E adverbs are standard ly adverbs. Any questions so far? All right, so try this one on for size. Create the positive degree adverb from the adjective where. Do it in Latin and in English, please. Yes, dear. Say it again.
True.
You can just make it a capital E.
Truly's a word. Yeah, truly is a word. I was not thinking when I said that. No, I was just simply not thinking. No, we don't. No.
Okay, where means truly. Just as a quick FYI, the word truly doesn't have an E there, but that's
You made me write it with an E.
but that's just English. So where is truly, not truthfully though, just truly. Okay. Truthful would be like whereosis or something like that, because it's full of truth. So where truly. Good, good, good. All right. Separate. Ter or iter adverbs. Adverbs that end in either ter or iter are created from third declension adjectives. Essentially, you're going to get down to the stem, which is not news for you, and then you're going to put either an iter on it or just a ter, depending on what your stem was. At the end of the day, you want it to have ter at the end. But in some ways, you can't just put ter straight on. Gesundheit. So in this one, Gesundheit, the stem changes, as you know, from acer to acr, acr. So then you're going to put iter on it. It wouldn't make sense to not have the I. It wouldn't make sense to do actur, right? So acreter. And then that means bitterly. Gesundheit. Colère becomes colèreter. Libens becomes libenter. To be 100% honest, you all will not have to worry about which ones to put ter on versus which ones you have to put ter on. Your primary concern at this point is being able to recognize it. That when you have something that kind of looks like an adjective that you know you've studied once or twice, but then it's got that ter ending on it, you're going to want to make it an adverb versus an adjective. Does that make sense? Jackson? Sharply, yes.
You were sharply dressed.
Yes. Yes. It's the Patrick life. All right. Sorry, I didn't realize I had locked the screen. I'm just going to go... okay. Any questions so far? All right. You are going to try creating the adverb from felix felicis, Latin and English, just obviously the positive degree. So you're going to get it down to the stem and then put on your ter or eter. Felix Natalis Tibi. That's what it means for Christina. Do you remember our little song? Felix Natalis Tibi. Yes. All right. Let's see what you've done. Good. Feliciter, happily, or you could do luckily. Either one is just fine for us. Good. Excellent. Feliciter, luckily. So for this one, you actually need the stem of F-E-L-I-C. It will not have a macron of E, though, because it's a third declension adjective. A third declension adjective yields something that ends in ter, not something that ends with an E. A first and second declension adjective will end with an E when it becomes a macron. So feliciter, luckily. That's what we were looking for. Oh, man. You guys are harsh today. I'm sorry.
I know.
I'm sorry.
That was so rude.
Why are you looking at me? I couldn't.
All right. Any questions on going from adjectives to adverbs? None? Okay. So we are going to stop our presentation temporarily. And this session, we can go back. All right. I'm going to put takeaways on Classroom for you. But similarly, I actually want to, excuse me, I actually want you to go to Classroom now because there's a short thing that I would like for you to do. Yep. So if you go to Classroom, I posted an assignment that should appear here. It's adjectives, and then there's a weird arrow shape, and then it says adverbs. On Classroom. What's that? I guess so. It's just made with hyphens, that's all. All right. This is a Google Sheet. On the Google Sheet is a list of all of the frequentative adjectives that you studied so hard for your quiz yesterday. So you know all of them really, really well, right? Fantastic. If you look at the way the columns are set up on the spreadsheet, your job right now is to create the Latin adverb that comes from it, and then to translate that positive degree adverb for all 50-something adjectives that are there. You all have edit access to this document. Please be respectful of each other's work. Please do not delete other people's work. And let's see how fast you can fill up all those columns. You are like the Flash. I love it. All right, so I think you can, if you see a cell outlined in color, please don't go into it yourself because somebody else is working on it.
For the first